Hello everyone, this is World Cricket Chat. To all our new subscribers, I'm Shruti Chopra, your tarot reader. Along with me is Suneer Chowdhary, our cricket analyst. This is where we preview, analyze and predict cricket games. Hi Suneer.
Hi Shruti, what game are we looking at today?
After such a fabulously exciting first ODI between England and Sri Lanka, we have to take a look at the second one. How will England take the result from this first game, Suneer?
Well, I think Shruti, the change in the format and suddenly it has become more competitive for England. This is not to say that the England fortunes haven't grown dramatically in white ball cricket in recent times. They are a much improved ODI side since the 2015 World Cup and since they have had this new coach, Trevor Bayliss. That's also why England were such overwhelming favourites to win this series against Sri Lanka before the first game, and they still are. In fact, the bookmakers are offering them 2-5 to win this series as opposed to 9-1 for a Sri Lankan win. However, and I must say this is that England did get away with the jailbreak in the first match, and it was partly to do with their rather long batting lineup.
Which was going to be my next question. Plunkett hit that last ball 6 to tie the match, and he came out to bat at 10.
He came out to bat at 10, and then they had Adil Rashid, who has 10 first-class centuries batting at 11.
Exactly, so anybody could pick up the gauntlet on a given day and get going, don't you think?
No doubt about that, Shruti. With the lineup that strong, the opposition bowlers have to be on their toes most of the times, as one saw in the first one-day international. But there are two ways of looking at it. One, there's the chance that the top order loses focus because they think there's always someone behind them to take over when they get out. But more importantly, it's the bowling quality that the team management needs to look at. Is that quality suffering as a result of buffering up their batting lineup? For instance, should Stephen Finn play ahead of Plunkett? Something for the management to think about. Shruti, moving on to the cards, I know you're happy with how the Mumbai Indians player Joss Butler did. You are a Mumbai Indians fan, as most of our listeners would know by now. You're rooting for him as well. Any such rescuing act that will be required from England in this game? What do the cards say?
Well, I think more than anything, I wanted to see a good game, and we certainly got to see a great fight. But from the perspective of tarot for this game, England shouldn't need that rescuing effort, as you put it. I do think they should manage to have better balance to how they approach all three areas of the game, but there's always a but. They will need to be more mindful of not changing their approach towards the latter end of the match. It could appear out of sync, and this is where they could give the Sri Lankans a chance to make a comeback. Batting should show better application than the first ODI, but again, it's those overs towards the end that will require better application. Although the bowlers will do well, but they could get quicker results by anticipating better. The same, in fact, goes for their fielding too. Now on to Sri Lanka. A tie seems to be an ideal way to begin the series, sets things up nicely for the rest of the games. Do you think Sri Lanka would be aggrieved with the result?
Sri Lanka have missed out on a golden opportunity to notch up their first win against England on this tour. They did win those two matches against Ireland, but against England they're still winless. And the way the game ended in the first match, it ended in a tie. I'm quite sure there was a sense in the Sri Lankan camp that it was akin to a defeat. Even Angelo Matthews was left to rue the result when he said that I thought we had the match in the bag for most overs. Matthews also pointed out that they could have got more runs than they did, but and as you pointed out, there's always a but. I also think that Sri Lanka could have bowled much better at Joss Butler and Chris Wokes. I must admit that the Matthews injury seemed to have taken a lot out of them, and that's where things might have fizzled out in the first game. To answer your question, yes, a tie would hurt them probably more than England.
Right. In fact, I totally agree with that. Now, looking at this second ODI, who can Sri Lanka rely on to bail them out of trouble if they get into it again?
For starters, they would want Matthews to get fit from that hamstring issue quickly enough, but they will also not want to risk him in the second match with 3 matches still to go in the series, plus the T20 international. I've been impressed with the way Dinesh Chandimal has come of age in recent times. There was that century against England in the Chesterley Street Test match, and then there was another 100 in their ODI against Ireland. And I suspect that he could be leading from the front here, especially if Matthews is not fit for this one. Moving on to you, Shruti, do you think Sri Lanka will be able to manage lifting themselves up for this match?
Well, I'm not really sure about that, but Sri Lanka's cards do seem to show improved confidence. But confidence alone cannot win you games. So, although they are well planned and well prepared to execute their plans, but I don't see their execution really taking off. They could end up being too defensive, especially with how they bat. They don't start off too well, and the recovery could take time before they manage to attack once again. Bowling too doesn't start too well, but they should manage to shake up the England team towards the end. In general, there will be moments where they could make this game count for themselves, but will it be enough to rattle the opposition? We'll have to wait for it. Suneer, while we wait, I'm intrigued to know what your call is for this one.
I think if Matthews misses out, it could hurt Sri Lanka. But I'm also quite tempted to say that if the pitch isn't really a high-scoring one, which has been the case at Birmingham this year in domestic cricket, the visitors could edge out England. Shruti, you going with me, or you have a different thing?
I'm I'm actually gonna go with England because I think they'll use the conditions a lot better. So it's Tara advantage England for me.
Oh, well, an England supporter calling out for England, Shruti. But that's all we have for today. Do subscribe to our audio podcast, and we should be back with the Tri Series final between Australia, West Indies, and South Africa very soon. Bye bye.